Hi, my name's Shazdeh. I'm the Forrester Reading Kid Correspondent, and today I'll be hosting an interview. To start off, I just want to say that I'm so honored to be here and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I love to read, and I was actually on the Forrester Reading Kid Committee last year and recommended some books for this year's award and the summer reading list. I also do a bit of acting, and because I read so much, I feel like I can understand my characters better. Each year, 270,000 kids vote for their favorite books by Canadian authors. And I'm happy to announce that the winner of the Silver Birch Express Award is Peter and Ernesto, Sloths in the Night by Graham Annable.
Wow, I still can't believe it. It feels amazing to win. I don't know. I don't feel like I win a lot of things in my life, so this is very exciting for me and unusual. It's a great honor, and it's a great honor because I know kids pick this, and that's the best way to win anything, I think. So yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, well, congratulations. It's truly well deserved.
Oh, thank you.
So, how does it feel to win this award, and does winning it this year in particular mean more to you?
Well, it's a huge honor. It feels great, and I guess this year probably is a year that kids probably read more stuff than they normally would have because we were all stuck indoors a lot more either playing video games or reading books. And so I have to think the competition might have been a little trickier or tougher this year because a lot more stuff probably got read. So it's an even bigger honor, I guess, for me to be lucky enough to be selected as the winner this year.
Mm-hmm. So, how are you going to celebrate? It's a big deal.
You know, my big plan is probably how I celebrate most days, honestly. I'm going to take my two pugs for a walk and with my family. And we usually take an evening walk down to the river and look at the sunset if it's not too cloudy. And it's kind of partly cloudy today, but I'm thinking I'm going to be looking at the sunset and just sort of soaking in the honor of it all.
Well, that's nice. A peaceful way to celebrate.
Yeah.
What makes Peter and Ernesto special to you?
Well, the whole reason I started to write these books is it's their friendship. I wanted to write stories where there was two friends who are completely different, but they're still the best of friends. And the biggest thing is how they appreciate each other's completely different personalities in a very equal way. You know, the world needs loud people and the world needs quiet people. And having two friends that are quiet and loud that work so well together was always really important to me. And that's each Peter and Ernesto book kind of centers around that.
Yeah. I love stories about friendship. What's the best advice have you gotten in the publishing world that kids like me should know now instead of waiting to learn?
Well, I can't say that it necessarily came from the publishing world, but from my own experience, I think the best advice I could give kids is make stuff. I always made my own comics when I was your age, even younger. Like I was always just making them, and some of them, were pretty terrible and not the greatest things, but I really enjoyed making them. And the fact that you just make stuff, you learn things. You get better at stuff the more you do it. And I think, I know for lots of kids, lots of even adult artists, it gets really intimidating. They want to make the most perfect thing the first time out. And you just got to let go of it and just make the mistakes, but do it. Like if you're just doing it and enjoying it, you will get better and you will figure things out and you'll find your own voice within it, which I think is really important.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Keep trying and nobody's perfect.
No.
You're such a talented artist. So, when did you decide that you wanted to do that for your career?
Well, I have always been drawing. I think since I was 4 or 5 years old, I always drew things. And like I was saying earlier, I was always making my own stories and comics. But I guess the most pivotal time when I really knew that I wanted to be an artist was when I was about to graduate high school, and I really liked science. And I was seriously considering going into sciences, biology specifically, or art. And I was trying to decide which one made more sense to me. And I looked at my science textbooks, and they were completely covered in cartoon doodles all the way through. And I realized that I guess more naturally I was an artist, and that I just was never going to stop drawing no matter what subject I was doing. So that's kind of when I decided that, yep, maybe the art world is the world for me.
Very interesting. So not everything's easy, and I was wondering, what's the hardest part about being an author?
Gosh, I think for every author, it's probably different. My problem, or my hardest part, I think, when I do projects, I love coming up with ideas. I get really excited when I think of a new idea or some part of a story that I want to do, and it's always the most exciting part of it for me. The hard part for me is sticking to it and finishing it. Like with all the Peter and Ernesto books, I've loved making each of them, but there always is that point where I was like, oh, I still got like 25 more pages to color, and I really just want to do a new Peter and Ernesto story, or a different thing. I get distracted easily. And so I think, yeah, the hardest part for me is making sure I follow through and finish the whole thing.
Interesting. Self-promotion is key. So let's hear your shameless plug. Do you have any new books coming out, and when?
Well, I don't have a specific date right now. I have two books coming, but I'm working on both of them. One book I'm just publishing on my own. I do a daily cartoon on my Instagram, and I draw a cartoon every day, just one little panel. And I'm doing a collection of those, finally. A lot of people have been asking for a few years now, and I finally figured out and got it all put together. So I've got a collection of my cartoons from Instagram coming out. But I am also hard at work on a very big 300 plus page graphic novel for middle school readers. Definitely a little bit older than Peter and Ernesto, more like probably for 11 or 12-year-olds. And not like Peter and Ernesto, it is sort of a horror, scary book. So very different, but that won't be out for at least another year or two.
Okay.
Still to finish.
I was wondering, what's your Instagram handle? I wanted to check out those cartoons.
Oh, sure. It is Grickle14. Grickle is GRICCKLE, and then just 1-4.
Okay, I will keep that in mind, and I'll be sure to check out those daily cartoons.
Awesome.
So, if you could have lunch or dinner with one famous author, who would it be?
Oh, I think that changes month to month depending on who and what I'm reading. But right now, I have been reading a lot of John Bellaire's books, and I don't know if you're familiar with those ones. They're from a while ago, and the only reason I got interested in them is there's a cartoonist Edward Gorey, very famous cartoonist, and again, sort of spooky stuff. And John Bellaire's wrote, I guess you could call them ghost stories. I've been reading his books, and they are amazing. I kind of can't believe I didn't read them when I was your age growing up. They are sort of scary stories, but they're super exciting and really, really well written. I don't think John Belair is with us anymore because these books were written quite a while ago, but if it didn't matter living or dead, I think I would love to have a dinner with him just to hear how he came up with some of the ideas in the stories.
Cool. I believe in superpowers. Mine is seeing into the future. For example, in a few minutes, I'm going to go get a book, sit on my couch, and eat some ice cream. What's your superpower?
I like that future. My superpower, gosh, my superpower is pretty lame. I think I have the bizarre ability of reading the slowest in my family, but still manages to finish my books. It takes me forever to read, and I love reading, but I'm really slow. And everyone else in my family reads what feels like at a lightning pace. So I don't know if it's a superpower, but it's a power I seem to have is I'm slow at reading, but I always manage to finish my book.
I think that's what matters, really, enjoying the book and just getting it done.
Hmm.
Did you read any other of the Silver Birch Express books? And which one would you have voted for? Obviously, other than Peter and Ernesto.
I would never have voted for my own book. That would just feel weird. Um, but looking through all the titles, there's so many amazing subjects, science-based ones. There was ones obviously on family and animals and the ecosystem. The book that kind of stood out for me purely for personal reasons was the Terry Fox and Me book that was up this year. And I think that's because Terry Fox was doing that run. This will show you how old I am. When I was about your age, Shazdeh, that's when Terry Fox came running through Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, where I grew up. And it was just, I don't know, it's a kind of an amazing time in Canadian history. And yeah, that book just seems really interesting to me.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna do some rapid fire questions. I'm gonna ask 10 questions and you have to respond as quickly as possible. Okay. Number 1. How many books do you read a year?
Again, I'm slow. So if it was just chapter books, I'd maybe guess 10, 12, if I'm lucky.
Do you have a TikTok account?
No, I have my Instagram account, no TikTok.
What tools do you need to write?
Well, I don't write so much as I draw. I do both, but when I draw, pencils, pen, colored pencils, but I do a lot of my work like the Peter and Ernesto book. This is not a quick answer. I do it on my Cintiq monitor with a stylus in Photoshop.
Beavertail or poutine?
Poutine.
Favorite fruit?
When they're really good and ripe, mangoes. I love mango.
Sweet or salty?
Kind of both. I think my favorite thing in the world to eat is sea salt caramel ice cream.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
What's your favorite season?
Fall, I think.
Favorite movie?
Ooh. The Straight Story. I love that film.
Do you have a hidden talent?
I don't know if it's hidden. I'll see if I can do it.
Oh, that's cool.
All right. I don't know how hidden it is.
Well, it's still really cool.
Thanks.
Well, that's it for today, but again, congratulations. Peter and Ernesto totally deserve this award.
Thanks so much. It is such an honor.